right, we're live. Get some going here.
I decided to let him be on my channel.
Yep. So, if you like gaming and geek talk, I'm going to be doing more work on my channel to try and get some more geek reviews of movies or games and the like. Probably focus more streaming specifically on Twitch instead of streaming on both, since I've found I can listen to music while streaming on Twitch and not have to have the mighty power of Google to smash my stream down while I'm actually having fun.
You also like...
Yeah. Down a little.
Alright.
So, yeah, and this isn't fully on Shitlords Anonymous there, Varen Getrix.
This isn't Saturday, this is spotlighting Igor.
Mm-hmm.
Is that better?
I'll turn your sensitivity up there.
Better?
Yep.
Hey, Warped.
Hey, how's it guys? How you guys doing? So, we want to talk about Orville. We watched it last night, their pilot episode, the 42 to 45 minute long TV premiere, and there's a lot of potential, but man, oh man, I was listening to Midnight's Edge, and they were just singing his praises, and like, did we watch the same show? A lot of the jokes are mistimed. You know, like, you could tell there was a good build-up, but
There was jokes?
Yeah. But there was a really bad delivery on a lot of them. The ex-wife angle is really contrived. It really felt like a needless plot angle. And they give this whole, well, it's only been a year since they divorced, which it would have been more interesting, I think, if it had been something where they had divorced further in the past. Like, maybe when he went off to join the Alliance forces, or whatever they call it, that she's from his past, you know, that there's more to it. But the first 5 minutes of the show, you find he walks in on his wife at that point, fucking some random guy, and then all the blame falls on him for their divorce and her cheating on him.
Because he didn't pay enough attention to her, because she knew he was part of the military and wanted to become a captain, and shit, that takes work.
Well, and on top of that, you slap on the fact that she's a member of the same military. She's going through is going through the same training and all that, because she becomes his first officer, which is, at least in Star Trek, and this is supposed to be loosely taking off of Star Trek, is command line. If you're a first officer, you're on your way to becoming a captain. This is my setup, Varen Getrix. This is my setup for Palace of Geekdom, my gaming geek channel. So thank you. It took a lot of work to get everything the way I like. So, which annoyed me only so much for the fact that it.
Okay, I could have lived with it if they didn't make him a blubbering idiot.
Yeah, he is a bumbling buffoon, and I don't know how to put it. It's like he doesn't come across as someone that should be in charge of a vessel at all, even in a joking fashion. Like, I've seen, like, if you look at the movie Galaxy Quest, even though he isn't really a captain, I mean, like, the whole joke is he's an actor who's acting as a captain because, you know, aliens abduct him. But he comes up with ideas. He's not an idiot. He's just a regular guy. The captain of the Orville, whose name, this is how bad it is. I've already forgotten the character's name. Like, I don't remember any of the characters' names except for the black guy who they call Lamar, I'm guessing, which is a joke about LeVar Burton.
But that's the thing with Soda that makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. That was a weird, contrived joke. Again, a lot of the humor, like Midnight's Edge was saying, "Oh, it's very dry humor." Like, yeah, but I love dry British humor. I love dry humor. This isn't dry humor. It's just bad delivery of humor. Like the timing, a lot of it was all off. Now, like the Soda thing, there was no build up to the joke. It's just like the previous captain said, we could keep Soda with us up in on the bridge. Is that okay still? Just checking. He's like, and it really poor delivery. Now, if time and time again he got caught with Soda, and then the joke came, it's like, no, you can keep your Soda. Just I'm sick of you putting it up on the console. You know, something where there was more...
Something where it meant something. It just felt like it was out of place. Like, okay, is this just stupid?
And they have literal dick joke in when he's recruiting his pilot for the thing. It's like, oh yeah, he's drawn a lot of dicks on space stations. And like, it's not funny. It's not that I don't like a funny dick joke. I mean, it was just not a funny joke.
The only good thing about that black guy and the helmsman...
Yeah, they actually had a really good... Like,
the only funny thing I actually kind of chuckled at was the guy doing the I'm checking to make sure you're not an asshole, and him going, oh yeah, I'm a major asshole.
Oh, me too, so we'll get along fine, you know?
Yeah, that's the only thing where it kind of felt like, okay, this is kind of building rapport.
Yeah. The problem I have with them is, they're the most interesting characters in the show. Period. The helmsman, the black guy and his and the white guy that are working as the helmsman for the ship are the most interesting characters on there, and that's only because they're the only ones that feel like there's any sort of dynamic.
They're the ones that feel organic.
Organic, dynamic, and personality going on between the two characters. But the second either of those characters interacts with anyone else, that dynamic personality, you know, play off of each other is immediately lost. Like the main helmsman, who was supposed to be like, had been basically forcibly retired and brought out of retirement by the captain of the Orville, Seth MacFarlane's character. Even though Seth's character is supposed to be his best friend, you know, like since they were kids, they have no chemistry on scene. Like, there's nothing there. They feel very flat, like they're just interacting with each other. It's like, a lot of it feels like, and I know this is partly because it's the pilot, you know, that they've probably put out there versus just the actual first episode. So I'm hoping the next episode is much better, because this one, there's just a lot of it was just, the crew does not have a real good dynamic personality and chemistry with each other. And like I said, like the two helmsmen are a good example. Like, they are an example of what they should be doing. There's an actual chemistry there on scene between the two of them. They actually have good lines amongst each other when they're actually on scene together.
Yeah. Well, my problem is, fine, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the pilot yet. But the pilot ends with you finding out that the ex who cheated on him, who blames him for why she cheated, got him the job as captain. And everyone's going, oh, you're such a good person. You know, you really are looking out for him, this and that. And the one thing going through my head is, bitch, you're the reason you two got divorced. And yet you're now being painted as this angel who's in his corner.
Yeah, and she resolved the first officer, his ex-wife, Seth's character's ex-wife. She is the person that resolves all the problems in the episode. Unlike Star Trek, where yes, occasionally you'd have a character that is the person who resolves whatever the issue is, but in a typical episode of Star Trek, most the characters talk together. You might have someone who comes up with the resolution, but he gets there because he's interacting with the other characters. You know, there's chemistry on scene where, like, yes, Data might resolve whatever, you know, like when the alien AI takes over the Enterprise's computers.
But it's something someone else said that made him think of the idea. And here's the thing. They telegraph how this is going to solve itself.
Oh, yeah, in the first 15 minutes... what was it? The first 15 minutes after they actually got to the real meat of the show...
It's telegraphed.
I said to my to Ren, like, that's going to be how they finish and how they save everyone right there. The only reason I know that is because it's so out... I'm not going to... I'm going to spoil this. All right. They resolve everything with the seed of a tree. And I knew that was going to be how they resolved everything in the episode because... It's so awkward, the scene where they ham-fisted in. I'm like, nope, that's the plot device right there. That's going to be the thing that saves everyone somehow. Because Seth's character pockets some, and then they walk off site. I'm like, oh, yep, that's coming back. It was too easily telegraphed as to be how it was going to be resolving the entire episode.
Oh, and the fact is, like, even when he gives his delivery line, and everyone then agrees, oh, well, the ex-wife's line would have been better. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously?
And that's... Even if she was the one to resolve everything, the humor would have been better, because if they were playing up on the idea he's supposed to be kind of like a bumbling buffoon-type captain, it would have been better if, for whatever reason, everyone is blowing smoke up his ass. You know what I mean? Like, everyone can see he's a buffoon, but they still kiss his ass. In that way. Like, it would have been hilarious. She comes up with the resolution, but everyone's praising him. If you're gonna throw in some, like, female empowerment as a BS plot to slap on top of everything, it would have been funnier to play up on the ideas, like, everyone's just kissing the captain's ass because he's the captain and gives him all the praise. So, like, she comes up with the resolution every time, but somehow he's the one that always ends up getting the credit. Something like that, where if you wanted to show off something like that, because at least then you'd have the humor of her just constantly like, I'm the one that did it! And it's like, oh, sure, that's nice. Just something. A lot of it felt rushed. Like, they burned through the entire plot pretty quickly. Like,
it was way too quick. And again, my problem is still with that one character, the ex-wife. You cannot have the angelic woman that you've set up at the beginning as she's the reason he kind of had a downfall. Because a lot of the BS that the guy says in the beginning has to be true. It has to be that, maybe he was at one point captain material and was working hard.
Yeah.
But this divorce and being cheated on threw for a loop, and for a year he's kind of had a rough year.
Yeah.
But
turned to drinking, drugs.
To drinking, maybe showed up to work late a couple times, things like that.
Yeah.
But you can't have that be true, and that the angelic ex-wife is the one in his corner helping his career along.
Yeah. It was aggravating to see because you want more from the series. Like, you can see a great deal of potential. You can tell that there's actually people from TNG, the next generation of Star Trek, who are working in the background on this franchise. One of the things I picked up, and I've yet to confirm this, I am positive the robot who is their kind of like a science officer / engineer, I'm positive the voice of that character is actually Brett Spiner, the, Data. So there's little things like that. You can tell there's people in the background who've worked for Star Trek that really want this to succeed because, well, Discovery is looking like ass. And unfortunately...
So is this. If they keep going with angelic woman, like his first mate solving all his problems, even the line thrown there, well, you were always better at solving all my problems for me, like, come on. Yeah,
it's aggravating, and in a way, I kind of feel like his friend, Seth MacFarlane's friend, the helmsman, the main helmsman, he kind of feels like the voice of the audience. It's like, no, she's a bitch. And he tells all the staff, oh, no, she's a complete and utter bitch. It was fucking around on him behind his back and all this stuff, cheated on him. And I kind of feel like he's the voice of the audience who's saying what we're all thinking, even though everyone else is, blowing smoke up her ass and praising her. Let's see. As for the good for the franchise, from what I've seen, the special effects are very well done. You can tell they've got a decent budget, and it doesn't look like they blew their budget on this first episode. And by that I mean like, I'm sure you've seen some series where like, oh wow, that episode was so amazing, and then you watch like the rest of the season, you can tell all their special effects budget was blown on that first episode, so everything just becomes tight conversational set pieces instead of, you know, seeing space battles and everything. So I think special effects wise, as the series goes on, we're not going to have like where they've suddenly cut out everything that we saw in the first episode. The other good is I actually rather enjoyed the character of the the security / security officer, the clear ripoff of Worf in the joking fashion. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I could see his character being developed a little more. The actor does sound a lot like the actor of Worf, so it plays well. Like I said, the helmsman, the two guys that fly the ship, both very interesting characters as far as the chemistry they have on scene. What's some of the other stuff here? We have the special effects themselves and the set design all look very good, very tight, very well put together. Nice. You know, the main bridge, it looks like they just took the TNG set design and then split the main thing in the back where the security, you know, where Worf would typically stand. It feels very Star Trek is what I'm getting. So on that side, they got it correct. You know, it all feels very well put together in that regard.
It looks very nice. If this is the way the humor's going throughout the entire season, I just know.
Yeah, and that, unfortunately, that's what I feel. Seeking Origin, let's see. Angelic X helping the cheating, arrogant husband would have been okay if it had been a twist at the end of the season. She's actually a traitor, undercutting the captain. Yeah, something like that, you know, would have been interesting. You know, build up some actual depth to the characters in some way. Or hell, even just have even if he was a bit of a bumbling buffoon, have the captain have, you know, the luck trait, you know, essentially, where no matter what happens, he somehow manages to get out of it in a way that is just, you know, breaking the fourth wall level of luck, you know, where it defies reason, it defies the audience to, but it defies the realms of believability, and play up on it. That could be humorous. It's like, how did you survive that ship exploding? Oh, I teleported. But you were on the maintenance deck. I don't know. You know, just things that you could play up on for humor, but there's a lot going on in this first episode where you're just kind of left, eh? And the biggest problem is, I don't know if they actually have decided if they are a comedy or a science fiction.
Or what they should have done is just go like that one movie with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Go straight comedy with some science fiction elements. It can be done. The problem is they seem to think that comedy is one thing, and like if they had changed it where the captain wasn't a bumbling buffoon, like maybe in personal life, maybe he was a bit of an idiot, but when it came to work, he was straight. I'm at work.
Right.
Because that one scene when he finds out his ex is the one who's gonna first see it, the first officer goes, no, and it's like
he seems more like a petulant child than he does in a human being, an adult.
But if they had just had him play it straight, where he just kind of goes, really? And then walk and have a calm conversation with the guy going, was there no one else?
Yeah.
Then it would be a little more interesting, you know, because you'd see that maybe in a professional setting, very different. Hell, even have the ex be the one who's complaining, you know, going, but why aren't you overreacting to me? We're at work.
Yeah, something. It's a problem. I really, like I said, I don't think they've figured out what they want to be yet. as far as science fiction or comedy. I think they should have watched Galaxy Quest a few times to get some, some notes, because the humor in Galaxy Quest is delivered much better. And if they were going for, like, dry British humor, Seth MacFarlane isn't good at that kind of humor. They should have brought someone else on to write the jokes then, because...
They should have brought someone else in to play it. Seth MacFarlane can't do straight dry humor at all.
I think he could, but I think it's, he's a decent enough actor. I think it's just that this is his baby. You can tell he really loves science fiction. You can tell he really loves Star Trek and Star Wars based on previous entries that he's done. But the problem is I don't think he has been... I think either it's one of two things. Either he's not been allowed to fully do what he has in mind yet, and that's where the tonal problems are coming from, as for whether it's comedy or sci-fi, in that regard. Because I'm not a Firefly fan, but the humor in Firefly, when they had humor, was spot on. It felt right. It felt well placed. I had a good laugh. But when it was doing its hard science fiction Western thing, it was doing its hard science fiction Western thing. It was clear what the tones were, and they were appropriate for the moments where they were supposed to be.
And even when there was jokes in moments where you wouldn't normally think there was a joke, at least fit the tone.
Right.
I mean, this kind of like, I'm just waiting, honestly, if you catch another episode, I'm waiting for you to describe an episode where it's like, well, Seth MacFarlane's character discovers that the axe was the reason he got the job.
Yeah. I hope they drop that subplot. They just kind of make that plot go away and just forget they ever did it. Treat it like Star Trek, where it's episodic. So yeah, that's a thing, but we're never going back to it because it would only hurt the plot, honestly, I think, if they go back to it, because again, it just plays up on this idea that for whatever reason, she's this perfect angel that's just trying to be good to her ex for whatever reason.
Pop up.
I predict by the end of the season, they will be sleeping together again. Period. And then probably what will happen is the episode before the end, Seth MacFarlane and his character and his ex character will be sleeping together. But in the last episode, something's going to happen. Specifically, he's going to fuck up somehow, and the two will be fighting again. So that way, in the next season, they can be back to the beginning. No, I agree. That is definitely one potential. Oh, what the hell?
What?
It said the stream ended.
Oh, it's still going.
No, I'm looking at the...
Why does it end?
Oh.
Maybe this spot.
There we go. No, I wasn't getting any content issues. What the hell? Seems to be issues with the stream health. Reconnecting now with OBS. Come on. Let them know in chat we'll be back in a second. Oh, it's saying our internet's down. Up. There we go. Looks to be... YouTube issues as usual. Alright, we should be in about 30 seconds. Giving us a 40-second delay. Well, it's not OBS. OBS is fine. Needs to be something going on, because we got an output of 9,200, so... We should be catching up now. Alright.
Alright, I think we're back. Yeah, we're back.
Yep, alright. So,
alright, guys.
Going again. Yeah, because all the music we have from Spotify is no copyright stuff.
Cigarette?
I'll finish mine then. Alright. What was saying? I kind of lost my track because of that.
We are talking about how we don't think
there's
ways to save the series, but it does not look like routes.
Yeah. To be honest, what I would have loved from his character is Zap Brannigan. A live action Zap Brannigan would have
if
been.
If you're gonna go bumbling idiot, you're gonna go bumbling idiot all the way.
Yes. A bumbling idiot, go all the way, be Zap Brannigan. You know, someone who's fucking around all the time. I mean, hell, you could have hilarious. And again, if she had been his ex from a long time ago, you could play up on the whole idea of...
He didn't know who she was.
Or no, you have him know who she is, you know, who they are. But I mean, like, an ex from a long time ago. Hello? Alright, it says it's having... They say it's having audio issues. Alright.
Is it sharing system sound?
Yeah, microphone's all good. Desktop audio's good. And I don't have Spotify up very loud. I'll turn it down a little more.
Dude, I do not know what's going on with the audio. It should be there.
Well, let me listen in on our stream here. A live-action Zap Brannigan would have been... It sounds good. I don't know. It could just be YouTube. Try refreshing the page.
Yeah,
maybe
try refreshing. That might help you.
It seems periodically YouTube can't handle people streaming for some reason.
They put more effort into diversity than they do actual work.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it would have been so much better if they had gone some different route with his character, Seth's character. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things where, as much as I would have loved to...
It's just not good.
Yeah. There we go.
Why is my camera being weird?
I probably have to refresh it again. Yeah, mine's doing it too. There we go.
Alright, that's better. Alright.
Bring up the Orville trailer. For those that haven't seen really anything about Orville, I think this will give you a pretty solid feel for the Orville, honestly. This is their Comic-Con trailer. It shows some stuff that wasn't in the first episode. I will say all the jokes you see for the first episode are all their best jokes.
Cool. There's a ship available. An exploratory vessel.
So, as you can see, the graphics are very nice. They're CG, and this feels early, actually. Like, you can see it's still a little rough in some of the design yet. It feels like they actually went in and did some finer, further detailing before they actually released the first episode. So, even at this point, the graphics felt, pretty spot on for a Enterprise joke series, like a series about Star Trek that's kind of making fun of it in general. I like how they have their, they don't say warp, but, their warp engines are pretty neat. Each ship has multiple engines, so part of the plot is 2 of these get destroyed, and eventually they are able to get away, but they have to basically figure out how to get enough power going to the last one in order to achieve warp.
The USS Orville. And we're offering you command.
You're kidding. That's not bad, right?
No, it's good. Paint some flames on the side, and maybe like a rainbow unicorn.
They make this scene seem so much more interesting than it was.
It's not that interesting.
Yeah, if it had been cut to this moment when they're flying in, it would have been much better, because they added like 2 minutes of them talking.
2 minutes that
was awkward.
Pointless.
Awkward, no chemistry.
Got something.
Engage quantum drive.
And they're building it up to be much more action-paced than
it's not that action-paced.
Yeah, they're trying to build it up to be... They're building up to be much more action-packed than it really is in the actual show. It's very slow. It feels slow. The talking is there, and I think that's part of the problem. Now that I think about it, the talking. It's supposed to be a science fiction comedy, right?
Yes.
Where's the technobabble?
There is none.
There was no technobabble. Everyone's talking like it's the 21st, like it's now, like present day. All their language, all their lingo, everything feels like the modern day. There's no technobabble that's even done comically. You know what I mean? Like, It's like the warp nacelle engines. You know, you could have really played up on the techno babble and just kind of have someone like, can you translate that into English? You know, something. You know, and it's just so paced so slowly.
All right, the low buzzing you probably hear on my end is our air conditioner. Saying he hears low buzzing is probably the air conditioner.
Yeah, that'd be the air conditioner.
We need protection.
Protection from what?
The krill.
You will die.
There's no way we're gonna be out by 5 today, are we?
That was actually one of the better scenes that happens between those two, the helmsmen. Again, the helmsmen have the
two helmsmen have the best, have out of everyone, the greatest chemistry.
Yeah, they actually have chemistry on scene.
You wanna open this jar of pickles for me?
You can tell they're trying to build her up to be more interesting.
Not.
Yeah.
I loosened it for you.
We're on the edge of the frontier of explored space. That doesn't excite you?
Yeah, and just going through the last few seconds since you walked away. Again, they're trying to build it up to be so much more action-paced, which, if this was the way it was cut in the TV show, it would have been much more interesting, because the humor, you can see, is being cut into beats that would play better in this trailer than in the TV show, because in the TV show, the humor is really slow build.
It's followed by it comes with a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem comes in.
Well, there isn't a good pacing to it. That's the problem. You know, again, the humor is really flat on delivery in a lot of the cases, and it just doesn't have any real strength.
Boom, bitch! The Orville premieres Sunday, September 10th on Fox.
Cool.
All right.
It was meh.
Yeah.
My camera's.
I don't know why your camera's acting. Mine too. Usually it works better.
Cameras.
Yeah, well,
There
it's
you go.
Windows 10. I can keep it if I have to.
Yeah, and Varentrix, if they had gone more Galaxy Quest the show,
Yeah.
so actors who are dragged into like a real life, situation and have to be what they play on television, then it could be good. It could have actually been funny. Then you could have even had the ex-wife who cheated character. Because if you had, say, a husband and wife who both worked on the show, they've now been since divorced, she cheated, and now they're stuck in close quarters trying to, do everything.
See, now, if they had purchased the licensing for a Galaxy Quest series, now that would have been funny. Hell, you could have gotten back at least Tim Allen. He loves doing television. Can you imagine Tim Allen now, because he's, a little bit older, and playing up on the idea that, oh, another race of aliens have abducted him this time?
Yeah, and only this time it's, cast and crew. Or even if it's younger, like if you go with a Galaxy Quest styled show. So let's say the Orville in its own universe was a TV series.
Yeah.
Take away the ex-wife plot from the TV show.
Yeah.
Have the first officer, woman who played the first officer, and the guy who played the captain were married in real life, but she cheated with a coworker.
Something.
So you can keep that in. So for some, why we're hunting cigarette, why they were stuck in close quarters and why they have such a problem with it. And then you have a race of aliens, let's say the one that the one chick is.
Mm-hmm.
Or make your own race. And you have them turn around and abduct this crew.
Yeah.
Thinking they're bringing in actual help. That would have been far more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. There's so much potential here.
Remember the scene with the security officer and the doctor when they were outside trying to escape? They did this thing with... escape outside. See, here's the problem. There's so much of the episode that it's like... only certain things stick out to me.
Yeah, it's just so... it really feels like it's just going from one shot to another shot to another shot, and it's all loosely connected together. That's the problem. And again, none of the characters are particularly memorable. The only reason I even think about the robot is because I'm pretty sure, like, I gotta look into this.
You have your
I'm pretty sure that the guy's, the voice acting the robot is Brett Spiner. That's the only thing.
I'm sorry, Rescue got stopped.
Oh, yes. Alright. So, yeah. I can't even remember Seth MacFarlane's character's name. I'm trying to think of any of the characters' names, and I can't remember any of them. None of them are memorable enough where I'm like, oh yeah, so-and-so. I'm trying to think what the wife's character's name is. I honestly, I don't remember any of their characters' name. And I just watched this last night, so that's not a good sign, you know, for this series. I have high hopes. I'm still hoping they build up the franchise, and maybe it'll get better, you know, as it goes along and pick up pace. But as it stands right now, there is just not a lot going on here. You know, there's a lot that needs polishing yet. And I'm just hoping that because this is basically the pilot episode released as its first episode, that the tone is firmed up. You know, they decide if they're going to do more hard science fiction with humor put in there, or go more straight comedy that happens to be science fiction. You know, because right now the whole series just feels very undecided.
It just feels so like, the problem is if they keep going the way they're going, they're just going to be forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll watch it and everyone will go, oh yeah, the extra thing, and yeah, with the way they even built it up, like, dun dun, she got him the job. I'm half expecting that to have, like, a very mediocre ending to that whole plot line. Like, he finds out and goes, thank you for me.
Or that's going to be the contrived reason why they break up again. Because, you know, they're going to build up on the idea that they get back together.
I don't know. I'm kind of...
You can see it from the beginning, because her whole point of being there is she's like, I want you to forgive me. I want you to, you know... It just feels like she's trying to push this whole, well, let's get back together again. Then it's going to...
Or what if, stupidly, that's the reason they do get back together? She goes, I believe enough that I help back as a person get captain position.
Maybe.
And
I don't know.
That's the reason they get back together. I mean, I want to see. I can look it up, the ratings.
Yeah, let's find out what the rate. Because I don't know. Like I said, I was shocked when I was listening to Midnight's Edge. They're like, oh, I thought this was brilliant. I thought the humor was great. I was laughing the entire time. Like, were you high when you watched it? Because a lot of the humor, even if I was baked out of my mind, I don't think would have gotten me to really laugh that much.
Okay. Do you want audience score or critics?
Audience score. I don't care about critics.
Audience score is 91%.
Really?
Critics score is 17.
Maybe because, I don't know. I guess I lean with the critics on this one, which is surprising.
Oh, here's the best one. This is the critic consensus.
Mm-hmm.
An odd jumble of campiness, serenity, homage, and satire. The Orville never quite achieved liftoff.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I feel. Maybe the critics were more fans of Star Trek and they can see the issues with it. So what was the some of the fan commentary, if they have any? Because I would have given it like honestly, I would have given it a 6 out of 10, the first episode, just because I see there is a lot of potential. It's not bad. I don't want someone to think that I'm saying the show is bad. It's just, it's not there yet. It needs a lot of work.
Okay, there's some people that's giving it 5 stars and no reviews.
Okay.
Some people wrote long ones saying that it's like next gen. One person.
It's like next gen. Yes, as far as aesthetics, it's like next gen, and that's not surprising when a number of the people working on it are from the next generation. So, at least for aesthetics, it feels very next gen.
Okay, here's a good person or thing. It's worth watching. It's not a laugh a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid sci-fi show with a few chuckles. It's more like average people in space than anything else.
Yeah, and I think that's their problem right now. I don't know what site she's using. I'm assuming Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. So.
There's a sea of 5 stars. Some people, there's like a bunch of stars and a half.
I didn't think it was a 3. Like I said, I'd give it like a 5 to 6 out of 10 if I had to rate it.
Out of 5 stars.
Oh, out of 5 stars, so 3 being average.
Being average.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not, like I said, I'm not sold on the series yet, but I haven't given up on it yet either. I'm gonna give it a couple more episodes and see how things go. But again, it's one of those things where they really have to get their tone decided. If they're gonna be hard sci-fi with humor, or if they're gonna be comedy with a dash of sci-fi. They really have to figure that out yet going forward.
Yeah.
So, we're at 42 minutes. I think we've rambled enough.
Yeah. So. Basically, the show's meh. I think average people is kind of gist of it.
Yeah. All right. So I will give it the Orville a 6 out of 10. It would be my for the first episode entry into their new franchise.
I give it a 4.
Yeah. So if you're a science fiction fan, yeah, if you like Star Trek, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. From the average viewer's perspective, Bren's giving it a 4.
The critics have it right. It's just jumbled it. No idea of what it wants.
And let me be fair. The only reason I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 is I see a great deal of potential in the franchise.
And I'm doing 4 because the second they introduced Angelic Cheating X was the second I'm going, oh dear God, I know what the angle they're going with.
Yeah. So again, we'll see how things play out, but I got a feeling it's going to, unless they firm it up, it's going to go downhill quick. But who knows? Seth MacFarlane's had, 4 starts before and managed to turn things around. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to give it a couple more episodes and see how things go. All right. So this has been Palace of Geekdom for my channel. You can check the description to see my YouTube channel, which I'm going to try to start, working more on and actually try to start doing reviews. And my Twitch channel is linked below as well. If you like to see live stream, chat and watch me get killed a lot in the trenches of Battlefield 1. All right, so thanks for watching.
Later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.